Hi Richard, thanks for coming along. I really appreciate it. I know sometimes it can feel a bit awkward talking about loss and loved ones. I understand you lost your wife Sue. Was it recent?
Earlier this year.
Earlier
Yes,
this year?
Yes.
Okay.
I also lost a son about 10 years ago, which was
right.
dreadful as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I lost my dad at Christmas, and I lost my mum when I was 8. So I do understand, what grief can be like. But
Yes.
to lose a son is...
it was the most dreadful thing at the time.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was drugs. I was only 31.
Yeah.
The first thing I knew was 2 policemen walking past my office window.
Yeah.
And they asked who I was and was I the father of my son. So I said yes, and next thing the hospital phoned me and said, can I go and identify the body? Or it may have been the mortician or something, which was awful.
Yeah.
And I went along to, it was Torbay Bay Hospital, and I went there and went in, and there he was, my beautiful young boy, son, only 31, and he just had a post-mortem. And they'd only covered him up to here. I actually collapsed.
Yeah.
And luckily I'd taken a work colleague with me, and he picked me up off the floor and took me home. It was absolutely dreadful. And then after that I had to go to the coroner's court.
Yeah.
But it was a long time ago, and I did actually kick myself into getting going again. The other bereavement is just recently, my beautiful wife. We've been married for nearly 40 years.
Yeah.
And I loved her with all my heart every day, and it was just so sudden. It was awful. And then I didn't know how to cope afterwards. I felt this, I just wanted to end it all, but I felt this incredible hollow emptiness inside, and I just didn't know which way to turn. And I gradually got myself together and thought, this life is so precious and it must not be wasted. And I took it step by step to get going and moving again.
How did you manage to drag yourself out of that?
It was, I don't really know. I think a lot of it, people didn't speak to me. If they did, they said, don't worry, give it time. But I know that they've meant really well, but it didn't do anything for me. I really just had to get on with life. I realised that I must not keep sitting here. I've got to get on and start living. I think it's really just giving yourself a talking to and saying, you've got to get on with life. There is no going back. You can't have your wife back again. It's a whole new life you've got to start and get on with.